It's Hyp3r Halloween.
I know this month is just beginning, but let's switch to something wacky. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is a 1978 spoof movie. Think scary movie, but instead of spoofing horror films, it spoofs B-movies from the time. The main creature from this feature is the titular Killer Tomatoes. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is another title that does a lot of my work for me. It's a movie where tomatoes become sentient and begin attacking humans. The movie begins by directly comparing itself to Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. Everyone laughed at the idea of birds attacking humans until it happened. Then the movie draws a direct parallel to that happening with a tomato attacking a woman. We're treated to a montage of tomato-based attacks. There's even a spoof on the movie Jaws where tomatoes attack swimmers at the beach. The president sets up a group of specialists to put a stop to the tomatoes. The group consists of a disguise expert, a scuba diver, an Olympic swimmer, and a man with a deployed parachute, and is led by a man named Mason Dixon. The group loses members in a variety of comical ways, and it's ultimately discovered that the president's press secretary is attempting to control the tomatoes for his own evil purposes. The press secretary is killed shortly after this revelation, and that's when the tomatoes' weakness is discovered. They have an aversion to the song Puberty Love. The remaining members of the special task force gather up nearby humans to lure the tomatoes to a local stadium. Once there, they blast the song and watch the tomatoes shrivel up and die. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes has so many memorable scenes as well. There's the scene where the Master of Disguise tries to blend in with a group of tomatoes. He's figured out though when he starts eating and he asks for some ketchup. There's also the scene where the scuba diver goes into a public fountain and starts to swim. That's ridiculous for a variety of reasons, like why would you even need to do that in the first place? But it's even funnier because it was obviously shot with the people around him not being aware of what's going on. The people sitting on the fountain look legit pissed off when the scuba diver starts to swim. The scene that really stands out for me, though, is the beginning of the movie. It's where a helicopter crashes into an area where the cast and crew are filming. Honestly, this entire sequence looks amazing because it looks so realistic. And that's because it is. They legit crashed a helicopter. It wasn't crashed intentionally, and luckily no one was seriously hurt, and only the pilot received minor injuries. That crash also supposedly took up most of the film's budget, and I could see why. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is a movie that lives in infamy. In the early 90s, there was a cartoon based off the movie series that I used to love watching. Well, when I say movie series, I actually mean the second film to be exact. Still though, without the first film, we wouldn't have had the cartoon and its fun cast of characters. Speaking of sequels, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes had 3 sequels and various spin-offs. I already mentioned the cartoon series, but there was also a video game and a comic book based off the movie series as well. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is often imitated and only sometimes replicated. For a movie that tanked in the box office and ratings, there's a lot of media that this movie has influenced. There are scenes that are recreated in other movies, movies that use the same basic title and premise, and even movies that use the same ending. The best part of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, though, in my opinion, is the theme song. It details what the tomatoes are doing in a comical fashion and is iconic to the film. Given this is October and Halloween is on the horizon, I will say this movie isn't scary in the slightest. So, if you're looking for a goofy movie to watch this Halloween, give Attack of the Killer Tomatoes a try.